Hello, my Milton family, my brothers and sisters in Christ. I hope that you had a wonderful week. I really do hope so because I have been reading the statistics and just in what I can observe, there has been a very, very high uptick in the number of COVID cases in our community. And I think it's really important for us as a church to make sure that everyone is safe. And also, as a church, to let you know that we care deeply about you. So, first and foremost, before I say anything, I want to say to those who are struggling because of COVID, number one, if you know anyone, please continue to pray for them. Pray for me as I am struggling as well, just as almost I'm assuming everyone here, because of the pandemic, it's not an easy thing to go through. And if I'm really honest to myself, there are times where it is really tough on me, my family. It's really frustrating, all the things that are going on. Uh, and it's really easy to lose sight of hope, really. Hope that, one day our church will come back together, that this will all be over. But I do know, just as history shows, that, this pandemic will be over. One way or another, it will be over. But goodness gracious, the wait is just so very difficult. So continue to pray for each other. If you need someone to talk to, if you need someone to vent, please feel free to call me. Just, sometimes it's just so wonderful just to be able to talk to a human being, not on a computer screen, but even if it's outdoors, if you want to vent for 10 minutes, just call me over for 10 minutes and I'll be over. And in your parking lot or driveway or in your porch, wherever, deck, wherever it may be. If you want to vent for 10 minutes and say how difficult it is, let me hear you out and let me pray with you because it is a very, very difficult time. Because it is such a difficult time and because of the risks, our leadership team just got together. And so I'm actually shooting this right after our leadership council and the Back to the Future, which is our COVID task force have met. And we have decided to change the worship in a few ways for our safety. Now, the biggest question is when do we enact these changes? And the answer to that is now. So we are changing the worship service starting this Sunday. I'm sorry for the late announcement, but I just did not foresee the number of cases going up this much. So the original plan was until the first week of November, we wouldn't make any changes. And then starting the second week of November, second Sunday of November, that we would kind of have, a worship planned out. But because the urgency of the situation, I think it's safety first. And the leadership team thought, and I as well thought it was prudent to change the worship service now. Now, there's going to be a few changes, and it might be sudden, but I'm here to explain the reasoning behind it and also to gain your support behind it because we have to really support each other. And one of the ways to support each other is through the church and our worship services. So, just here's a brief overview of the important changes that are happening now. Okay, so the first thing is our 8 o'clock worship service is going to be at 8:30. Now, this is still going to be an in-person service because as of now, the capacity of our sanctuary and the amount of people who are coming in, it wouldn't be, we feel that it would still be safe. Our sort of gauge on safety is if it's safer than grocery shopping, I think we're good. And me being in the pulpit, I feel much safer preaching in the pulpit than I do shopping at Woodman's or Target or Walmart or wherever. So we will continue now. If there are too many people, or we think, or if cases really get bad, then we will obviously revisit. But for now, we are switching it to 8 o'clock to 8:30. Now, I'm sorry for the real early risers, which 8 o'clock was perfect for. But after talking to a lot of people and getting feedback, we feel that the 8:30 time slot would be slightly better for people to come and worship, and it will give them more people opportunities to worship at that time. Because the 8 o'clock service is moved to 8:30, our 9:30 service will be moved back 30 minutes as well to a 10 o'clock service. And this is where the biggest change would happen. So right now, our 9:30 service is a drive-in service. But so it's a sort of a hybrid service, but for the winter, I think it is best, and we thought it was best to do it as an online only affair. And this was probably one of the hardest decisions for me, and also for our staff as well. One of the reasons being is Sunday school. We really want to create a church that is welcoming to the younger families with younger kids. I also am a father of, I'm considered a younger family, hopefully, because, my kids are young, and it is really nice for my kids to have interaction, especially because they are doing online classes right now. I really wanted them to have that experience of meeting friends, getting to know people, but at the end of the day, safety is first, and there's just been an increase, uptick in just COVID cases in schools as well. So we thought it would be best to move Sunday school online. Miss Elizabeth and I are going to talk about it, and we want to make it good. Not just have something, but we want to make it good. And the way that we can make it good is if people participate. If you make an effort, I know it's so difficult, and you are probably sick of helping your children get online to do things. But if you could really help and let people know how to participate, if you know of, even if they're not members of our church, but you know someone who would like to do a Sunday school, whether it be your grandchildren or great grandchildren, please let us know, because the more children that participate, the better, I think, experience it comes for the children. So this was one of the real hard reasons, just why the decision was so hard, because I really wanted the children to have in-person worship service, but then the parents would have to come, and opening up our doors in our sanctuary would have made it easier for the parents as well. But safety is always first. There's a principle of do no harm. Now, I'm not going to go really in detail about it. It's more of a nuanced approach. I don't say do no harm to everything. Like what is harm and all that stuff. No, I digress. Anyway, what is important is that we understand and be good stewards of the life that God has given us, and our health that God has given us. For us to make disciples, we need to be healthy. We need to have good habits. So that's why we decided to move our Sunday school online. However, our communion, I still strongly believe in the need for communion. I think that's one of the greatest gifts that God has given the church. When Christ says, do this in remembrance of me, I think we need to constantly remember. So we will have drive-through communion as we did in the past. So Communion Sundays would be a little different, and the reason being is because we want people to be able to come and to partake in the elements, and get the partake in the communion and receive the elements. So please give us feedback. Let me know what your thoughts are, so that we can better adjust, so that we can have a wonderful worship experience together. Well, I hope that this message gets to you so that you don't come earlier, or you don't come to the worship service and you don't see me there all of a sudden. Things will be indoors. They will still be live. I strongly believe in live worship service, even though there are a lot of warts and it might look unprofessional. It's still there. We are connected in spirit, and there's a great value in us doing things together at the same time, although we may be physically separated for our safety. I hope this message finds you well. If you have any more questions, please feel free to contact me or your Caring Ministry callers, and you will be receiving a call from the Caring Ministry callers anyway, just to make sure that you are taken care of. And let the word and spread the word. Just make sure when you call people or for people from our church, just make sure that you mention, hey, do you know that our worship times are going to change, and the way that we will worship is going to change a little. Just mentioning that really helps people not to feel left behind, and I think that's the most important thing that we can do as a church. Well, I hope to see everyone on Sunday. Make sure that even if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, to leave a comment so I know who attended, and because it's really good, right? And in Zoom as well, just make sure that you say hi. Hopefully before the worship service. I usually on Zoom I say hi before the worship service just to see how everyone's doing. But hope to see everyone on Sunday, or at least hope that everyone sees me and that everyone understands the change in worship service. Bye.